Good evening, TZR faithful, and welcome to the next episode of Zero Interruptions, a show where we debate and you, the viewers, get to decide who is most right. Speaking of that, let's jump right in and see how last week's contestants did. Frank in the SNES got a total of 9 votes, Dave in the GameCube got 7 votes, and Skirbo in the Switch got 6 votes. Meaning Frank gets 3 points, Dave gets 1, and Skirbo gets nothing. Thank you to all who voted, and remember, if you want to vote for the winner on this video, then just leave a comment down below. With all that said, let's take a look at this week's contestants. First up, known for looking dapper at any given time in any given place, the only person on the TZR crew allowed to make comparisons to Dark Souls, it's Alex Shock. Next up, this contestant's insistence of just one more game has led to many hours of lost sleep. Do not challenge him to Super Smash Bros. Unless you want to cry, it's Justin Chow. And finally, known for scouring internet forums tirelessly to get the latest gaming news, hailing from the land of superior maple syrup, it's Shane Weaver. Okay, so the contestants are in and the audience is in. So gentlemen, my question to you is this. What is the best Mario game?
Alright guys, there are a lot of Mario games out there, but if I have to choose just one, I'm going to go with the one that really started this series off strong, Super Mario Bros., the original. Considered one of the best games of all time by literally everyone, it was the first game outside of the arcade to feature our schlumpy Italian hero. And it really came just in time. The industry was kind of struggling back in '85, and a lot of people thought it was just a fad, but Super Mario Bros. Hit the shelf and blam, the world went nuts. Mario sold like crazy, the NES systems flew off the shelves, and the industry was saved. Mario and Super Mario Bros. Became legendary. To date, it has sold over 40 million copies, and it was the best-selling video game of all time for over 2 decades. No other Mario game can say that. Personally, it was one of the first games I ever played, and I still remember how amazed I was by it when I first sat down with it. This was no blocky Atari game. This was no Aladdin handheld thing. This was real. This was adventure. This was challenge. This was heroics. It was incredible. It was just magic. The running, the jumping, the precision controls, the bricks you're breaking, the enemies you're stomping, the flag going up the pole, the fireworks, the castle, the pipes, the Bowser, the underwater level, the level design, the soundtrack. It was all amazing. And I would play it again in a heartbeat. Super Mario Bros. Set the bar for what a video game can achieve and inspired an entire generation of gamers. It is definitely one of the best games of all time, and it's certainly the best Mario game ever made.
Okay, alright, okay, sure. Alex, great choice. Super Mario Bros., a classic. But I can't say that it is the best Mario title. Come with me on a little trip. It was fall, 1996, and I was 8 years old. My pops took me to Toys R Us, and like every Toys R Us excursion, it ended up in the video game department. And who was there? Mario, the glorious plumber himself, in 64-bit graphics, running in all directions, not just side to side, but forward, backwards, left, right. And look at this. Look at this. This was the future. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, the best Mario title to grace a Nintendo console was, in fact, Mario 64. Why? Because it single-handedly brought us out of the dark ages of video gaming and brought us to the modern era that we have today. In comparison to Mario games that came out before Mario 64, they were just side-scrolling platformers, right? You move left to right, you jump, you stop on Goombas or whatever. What was it? More of the same. Then you had the games that came after, and what were they? Just copycats. I mean, sure, they added in like a weird water gun thing, and they had like gravity puzzles and little King Kai planets, but nothing special. It was just more of the same. More copies of Mario 64. But there was only one definitive Mario title that reimagined, reinvented, and redefined what it meant to be a Mario game. And that was Mario 64. What the hell's that sound?
Super Mario 64, eh? That's a cute choice. And Super Mario Bros? Really? Come on, that's not even the best 2D Mario game, which is obviously Super Mario Bros. 3. No. See, the thing about those games, while, pioneers of their time, they've been outdone. and they're just now paving the way as proof of concepts for greater things to come. Now, as much as I respect these games, when I think of the best Mario game, I tend to think of, the best Mario game, which is none other than Super Mario Galaxy. Oh yes, Super Mario Galaxy is the pinnacle of Mario's adventures. Not content working within the constraints of relative gravity, Super Mario Galaxy blows the door wide open on level design and platforming fundamentals by literally shooting for the stars and setting the game in outer space. Worlds, or galaxies in this case, are comprised of planets and planetoids that all have their own gravitational fields for Mario to traverse between from one to the other. This gravity mechanic is utilized perfectly in a Mario game, taking Super Mario 64's mastery of 3D navigation to a whole new level. It flawlessly incorporates this into every galaxy while still displaying fresh ideas and identities in every level throughout the entire game. On top of that, it controls like a dream, and even puts good use to the signature waggle of the Wiimote for a spin attack. Oh, and there's even multiplayer. I mean, it's not real multiplayer, it's kind of dad trying to figure out how to work the TV remote kind of multiplayer, but they tried. The presentation is drop dead gorgeous, despite the limitations of the hardware it's bound to. I mean, just the mood and the serene atmosphere of the Comet Observatory is enough to marvel at. But the colorful and varied galaxies are each a spectacle of their own, complemented perfectly by the masterful, exquisite soundtrack. Although there was apparently a struggle for the composers and sound designers to implement a fully orchestrated score into the game, they can rest easy knowing it was well worth whatever challenges it took to make it happen. The music in Super Mario Galaxy truly defines the game as one of the greatest accomplishments ever created in the industry. Not to mention, the game introduces Rosalina, a new character to the franchise that actually has some substance and story behind her for a change, all told through the chapters of a storybook. I mean, there is a reason why we still see her in Mario Kart 8 and not the fairies or whatever they were from Super Mario 3D World. With inventive power-ups, excellent level design, perfected control, and a beautifully presented, fully realized setting, Super Mario Galaxy is the total package, and the ultimate Mario experience to date.
Alrighty, TCR faithful, you have heard the points, and now it's time to decide. Do you agree with Alex in Super Mario Bros? Do you agree with Chow with Super Mario 64? Or do you agree with Shane in Super Mario Galaxy? Please leave a comment in the section below to cast your vote for the winner, which will be announced on the next episode, which will be 2 weeks from now on November 10th. Until then, thank you for watching, and please subscribe to see more Zero Interruptions.